welcome to Tarmac. I'm Dave.
I'm Matthew, and guess who's back? Exactly, me, but not just me, because behind us is the all-new 2023 Honda Jazz RS.
That's right, the good old Jazz has gone jazzified and RSified, so a pumped up, sportier version of the good old Jazz. Come, let's take a look at this. Now, Soichiro Honda, the founder of Honda, is famous for saying, if Honda doesn't race, then there is no Honda. And essentially, this vehicle here, this RS, can trace all of its roots and DNA all back to that racing heritage that Honda's familiar and known for. So, although you may go Honda Jazz RS, haha, it actually does all span from there. So, there you go. Looking around it, I know you guys have seen the Jazz and we've already shown you the Jazz sort of stuff from there, so I'll keep this quite brief as far as it goes. But being the RS means that it gets an RS grille, and being as it's an EHEV, it's got this blue Honda badge, or the surround around the Honda badge. The other thing as far as the front goes, it's got an RS specific bumper, RS specific lettering, and also plenty of airflow to get through to make sure that the engine that is actually been pumped up a little bit is cool. Our review model comes in black, or crystal black pearl, which I should be going black pearl, and actually the sun's making me squint a bit anyway, but there you go. And really the only change around the side here is these 16-inch wheels that are, I don't know, got a little nice bit of rubber on them, but actually do hug the road quite well. Actually, a fair amount has gone on around the rear here. You've got an RS specific roof spoiler, RS badging, and the HEV, as we'll be speaking about. You've got an RS bumper and also an RS exhaust tip, so stuff going on from there, lots. And also, once you get inside the boot here, actually enough space for your weekly shop, and also a nice little pop-up bit here for those hidey things that you want to keep away from your wife or your partner or whatever it is, so pretty good there. Let's take a look under the bonnet. Now what we have here is Honda's EHEV system, which is basically two motors in one. So not just, you get a bargain basement, you get two motors in one. Have I got a deal for you? But anyway, what it means is the engine, which is a 1.5 litre VTEC, doesn't actually touch the wheels. It goes through a generator, and that in turn powers an electrical motor that then drives the wheels. So both motors have been improved or have been upped in their kilowatts. So what you have is 78 kilowatts here and 127 in Newton meters, and the electrical motor is 90 and 253. So it's basically plenty of oomph to get this little vehicle moving fast. It's also got actually out the exhaust pipe 68, something like that, grams of CO2 per kilometer, and also it's really efficient, 3.8 litres of fuel per 100 kilometers. So it's actually an efficient little motor that's very, very sprightly. Speaking of sprightly, no, she's not. He's inside. Matthew's going to show you what's going on in there.
Well, I may not be very sprightly, and especially not in the last few weeks, but something that does embrace some of that sporty characteristics, not only on the outside, but this Jazz also does it on the inside. So firstly, the interior, it is fabric, but it's what Honda calls the ultra suede interior. And if you have a feel around on the base of the seats or seat back there, you can actually feel that suede sort of material on there. What I really like in terms of highlighting the color in this interior is they haven't gone for what you'd expect, you know, with something inspired by a Type R. You'd expect to find red stitching and red highlights everywhere and all that sort of stuff, but they've done the RS a bit differently. They've done it quite tastefully, if I've got to say. We have highlighted all the stitching in yellow, so that's on the seats there, as well as the steering wheel on here. But I'll get to the steering wheel and driver display in a minute. Going back to the seats, these are actually anti-fatigue seats. It's an all-new design from Honda, new cushioning, all of that stuff. So it'll make you just never feel tired in this car. You could just drive on forever. I'm only joking, of course, but it does feel really comfortable to sit in these anti-fatigue seats. And while you're there and you're feeling, you know, lively, there's plenty to play around with and plenty of things to poke around in this interior. In terms of storage spaces, so everything is laid out neatly and orderly. It's almost like your grandmother's sort of cabinet, if you like. There's places for your glasses and your bottles and your phones, and you know, everything is sort of has got its place. So you've even got two not cup holders, sorry. You've got many more than just two, but you've got two glove boxes. So you've got one up there on the top and then one on the bottom down there. Close those, and you know, there's quite a reassuring sound as well when you do close them. But you'll notice there that the cup holders by the AC vents are actually in front. So in the summer it'll keep your drinks cool, and then in the winter it'll keep them sort of warmed up, if you like. Just as well for a pretty cold day like today. Looking down the middle, you have another cup holder there, little storage bin in there, and then if you pop that open, there's quite a deep storage under the central armrest. So really convenient, and there's spaces for everything. Not to forget the door bins as well, which are quite roomy. If you've got a phone, which most people have, then you'll be looking for a place to store it. You've got a little area over there with some sort of notches in it to keep it in place while you're going around the corners. And as we will show you later, is that this car can actually go around corners quite well. You've got two USB chargers there, and you've got your cigarette lighter 12-volt socket as well in there. So neatly laid out, just like the infotainment screen. Now this infotainment screen here is 9 inches, and it's Honda's typical infotainment screen that you would expect to find across their range. So you've got that mix of all of the touch stuff over there, and a few buttons along the side like your home, back, and volume and tracks and stuff like that. You'll also notice that there's a sort of band of icons that exist no matter what mode you're in, and it's generally shortcuts that you might use a lot, like connecting your phone or inputting Bluetooth audio or your FM or stuff like that. But this is the home screen view, and you can see there all of the apps. And if I swipe through to the next screen, some more apps. They are color coordinated as well, and I have my theories on what they are, but let's not get into that right now. Obviously, standard stuff is the smartphone connection. It's got Bluetooth audio, various different audio inputs, and ways that you can configure this display as well in terms of brightness and contrast and all of that. But what I'd really like to point out actually is the clock on here. Now, normally this is sort of a ordinary feature, but if you look at the clock on here, the key thing to notice is where 12 is. So if you've grown up with Honda Jazzes, you might not know where midday actually is on the clock, but never mind. Hopefully you'll sort yourself out. This screen, on the other hand, is a 7-inch unit, and as you can see on there, it's got your central display, which is of course digital, and then you've got sort of analog light and bars on either side. So on the right side, you've got your petrol fuel indicator, so you can see they're full and empty all the way, and then on the left side, highlighted in green, is your electric charge indicator, and again there's full or low, not to confuse the driver. The screen in the middle, you can see there, everything's really easy to read, quite large, and you know, especially the speed up top, very visible even when you're sitting in the passenger seat. Overall, it's a really easy sort of interface to use and look at. Everything's where you'd expect it to be, and the information is really easy to see in general. Taking a step back and looking at the steering wheel, now this is highlighted in that lovely yellow stitching that I pointed out earlier. You've got controls on either side there, your left side of course for your volume and audio inputs, and your right side for your cruise control and lane keep assist and all of the Honda sensing stuff essentially. You've also got paddle shifts in this car. Now don't be confused, because this is not to shift gears, but it's actually to give you 4 different levels of regenerative braking, so quite intelligent in that sense to find this on a hybrid car. Even though the Jazz is, you know, a compact hatchback, there's plenty of room here in the back for some sort of sizable adult like me. So if I lean back, you can see there plenty of knee room and a plethora of headroom, frankly, and shoulder room is quite good too, although getting somebody in that middle seat might be a little bit of a struggle. In the back here, you've got some good storage cubbies in the side of the door there. You've got a little area for your phone in the seat there. Now, the party trick, of course, is these magic seats, and they fold down like the normal way, you know, fold flat. And if I pull on this handle there, you can see it does it like so, and it'll go completely flat just like that. But if I pop it back up like that, I can actually just lift up this entirely, and there you go. There's another configuration. And it's the same with this seat that I'm sitting on here. You can put it up, down, flat, you know, various different ways. And altogether, Honda has said there's 18 different configurations you can have these seats in. So that's quite something, actually. It's magic. Almost like the way this goes around corners. So let's take it for a drive.
So the Honda Jazz RS, like I said, don't gloat or laugh about it, because it actually is quite a peppy little car. And it's not just the engine that's been fettled with, it's the suspension as well, but I'll get all into that in a minute. It's a sub 10 second 0 to 100. I think it's probably around 8 seconds, which is not bad for a car that's, you know, historically been driven by grey-haired people. I mean, you know, I'm getting grey hairs and away we go, but it's a sprightly car.
Dave's quite right, actually, because it, you know, previously the RS badge has just sort of been cosmetic for the most part, whereas on this car it's not just sports suspension, actually, it's sporty steering too.
Oh, yeah.
So that's another added factor, which makes it actually, although in a straight line it's not, you know, lightning quick, and it's certainly no Type R, but it certainly can stand up for itself, especially around the corners. And we've been taking some with a bit of speed, certainly, and it's hung on no problem, even with those skinny-ish tires.
Absolutely, and I don't know anything about skinny. The fit and finish actually is good, and you say about the cosmetics, and I actually don't mind the cosmetics. It does give it that little bit of difference from, actually we were parked next to another Jazz earlier. I was going to say Fit because it is a Fit somewhere else, but anyway, and it does look that little bit more masculine, that little bit broader, and ready for, or fit for purpose, fit for sport. And the interior, the tactileness of it is really good. I like the yellow stitching. I think it's right. It doesn't need to be red. The yellow really just sets it off nicely. I would like to have seen a sort of, I don't know, a sport mode. I mean, it does have a sport mode, but I'd like to see some more sporty gauges. But on the whole, it is a different type of vehicle.
And it's just, you know, there's oodles of space in here. The storage is amazing. And then you have the visibility. As you can see there, look at the size of that rear windscreen. And then if you could see the size of this front screen here, we've got, I think, a 90.2 degree wide angle sort of view. So it's like, you know, what are blind spots?
Yeah, so all this sun that's coming in now, it's got just huge amounts to get through. And the other good thing about it, they've hidden the windscreen wipers, so they're down below the windscreen, so you really do get a panoramic view all the way over. It's very good. When it comes to the sports modes, like I said, you've got an Econ, which I don't know, I don't really want to stay in. I guess that will give you the 3 point whatever it is, 0 liters per 100 kilometer. Then you go normal, which is, you know, pretty good in all conditions, and then you move up to sport. That gives this little fiery red motif in the center here and lets you know you're ready to get racing. And actually, let's see if we can the funny thing is, the engine, as I've said before, has got no relationship to the wheels. So although it revs up, all it is providing is just more energy for the EV or the electrical motor to spin your wheels, and it's quite funny.
And this sort of hybrid is really amazing because it can do that, and the fact that it's just acting as a generator then, rather than, you know, making the whole car sort of move or go faster, you can achieve something like 3.5 liters per 100 kilometers with the combination of an extremely small motor and battery sort of setup. So it's really very impressive in terms of efficiency.
It is. But it's the suspension for such a small car and such a actually relatively well-priced car as well, just for it to be able to do this stuff. And then your regen to help top up that little, I mean, it's only a small battery, but to help top it up and make sure that you're getting the most out of your fuel tank, which is probably the size of my thumb, which is, gee, it's a big thumb actually. Anyway. So there you have it, the new Jazz HEV RS. S for sporty, R for, actually it's rally sport or something like that. Anyway, but it is a sportier version of an absolute, I don't know, it's a favourite. It is a slightly older person's favourite vehicle, and I enjoyed it. It's a fun drive, like I said.
And the Jazz just does, you know, everything you'd want from a car. Frankly, there's, you know, it's got it all covered. And then the fact that those two letters, the RS badge, adds that little dash of sportiness, which does actually keep you on your toes. So, you know, enjoy it.
Absolutely. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. It will be around here somewhere, and we'll see you on the next one. Not sure what we got, but we'll have something.